All the talk here at Snetterton is about the last lap incident at Alton Park between Neil Hodgson and Chris Walker. Their coming together made dramatic viewing. Roger Burnett reminds us just what happened.
As both riders wanted the same piece of tarmac into the final corner at Alton Park, there was a clash, and what a clash it was. It resulted in them both leaving the circuit and going into the gravel. Chris Walker parted company with his Suzuki, while Neil Hodgson skillfully brought his Ducati back onto the circuit and home to finish fourth. Looking at it again, it was, in my opinion, one of those racing incidents that was inevitable under such pressure. But it has resulted in an off-the-track legal battle which has followed the championship here to Snetterton. Barry caught up with both team managers.
Colin, millions of television viewers saw the last lap at Alton Park, and in particular the incident between Neil Hodgson and Chris Walker, the result of which was Neil losing valuable championship points. But we understand things have moved on a bit since then.
Yes, that's right. It was an exciting event. The protest was put in by Suzuki, and the decision was to penalise Neil Hodgson 36 seconds, which effectively put him back to 14th position. He crossed the line in 4th. We've appealed against that decision. The stewards at the event threw that appeal out. We've now appealed to the MCRCB, the organising body, and we're due to hear the appeal on Wednesday next week.
Well, racing's always been a very serious business. Now it's a highly commercial business. But how do you think the riders themselves feel about that particular incident and what's going on at the moment?
Well, I think since the finish of the race, they've been feeling probably a little bit upset by the fact that it's gone further. I would say that both Neil and Chris would have got off their bikes and had time to cool down and shook hands on it and forgotten all about it. Unfortunately, it's been taken out of their hands now. So I think, on the circuit today and this weekend, they'll be fine. There won't be any problems.
We'll watch with interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, we've just spoken to Colin Wright about the incident between Neil Hodgson and Chris Walker, and we understand now that things have moved on a bit. What's your version of events as they currently are?
All I really know is I'd rather talk about something else, to be honest. But now things have moved on to the point whereby GSC have put in an appeal to the RAC MSA, which is the governing body of all motorsport, including motorcycle racing, and there's a judicial review next Wednesday, which we'll attend and put our case. Ultimately, we put a protest in, GSC appealed, which is well within their rights, and the judicial clerk of the course saw it our way, the RAC stewards at the event saw it our way. Maybe the next port of call they go to will see it their way, who knows, but you can't go on forever, clearly. Meanwhile, there's a job here to do this weekend. Yeah, the biggest shame of it is that the teams all get on well, as I think you're aware. We all work together in many ways, and it's not nice to have, if you like, bad blood. It's good to move on and get on with another race and another weekend. And good luck. Thank you, we'll need it.
0.6 of a second inside the lap record, Neil Hodgson set a blistering pace during qualifying in his pole position. John Reynolds second, and Mackenzie making a GSE, 2 bikes on the front row there. Row 3, and Marty Craggill replaces Peter Goddard on loan by Kawasaki to the World Superbike team.
Steve, you're 5th in the championship, very much in touch, but this Snetterton circuit is all about flat-out speed. Is the Yamaha going to be quick enough?
Hopefully, we've done a lot of work on the bike over the last few weeks, and fair enough, I've only qualified 5th, but I think I can be in with a shout here. Problem is just the Ducatis have such good grunt out the 2 major slow turns, and they seem to carry that speed all the way along the straight. So if I can get in behind them, slipstream them, and do some do-or-die manoeuvres maybe.
Well, you're very good on the brakes. Are we going to see some of that at the S's?
I hope so.
Good luck.
So thanks, Barry.
John, we're not yet halfway through the season. You've got a 20-point championship lead and you've been remarkably consistent. What's the plan going to be from now on? Are you going to ride for the championship or race wins?
No, I think race wins, Barry. At the end of the day, you can't really start planning a championship at this early stage. The other 2 guys are riding really well, and I really do need to start mixing with them. So, I need to sort of push a bit more.
Well, you're on the front rows, 2nd fastest. Who do you see as your main threats?
About 6 of the boys behind me, I think, at the moment, and the guy in front, of course. It's going to be one hell of a race, I'm sure of that.
We look forward to it. Thank you.
Cheers, Barry.
To use John's words there, one hell of a race as the riders prepare for the off for round 9.
22 laps of this ultra-fast Snetterton circuit ahead of them, 43 miles. An interesting shot there, looking back down the start-finish straight. They have to go uphill away from the start. On the right, Neil Hodgson, alongside him Reynolds. It was Hodgson and Mackenzie on the left-hand side. The number 7 INS Ducati shot away, but he's been overhauled now by Chris Walker and Reynolds, but it's his teammate, second in the championship, Neil Hodgson, number 4, hitting the front at Riches. The first right-hander. Along the back they go to Sears, the next right-hander. Then it's heads down, up through the gearbox, all the way down the Revit straight, and Hodgson leaving the rest in his wheel tracks on board with the number 9 Yamaha, Paul Brown. Somebody carved him up there. There's debris, mayhem, another rider down, halfway round the first lap, and there's chaos all over the straight. This must entail a red flag, surely. Yeah, there's a rider down. There'll be race stoppage while they attend to the rider. And as soon as we have some news, the 2 riders, as soon as we have some news on those riders, you will know. 10-minute delay then before the restart. Full race distance, 22 laps again. Hodgson had such a great start last time. Can he repeat it? Well, it was Reynolds who got the drop. Dropped the clutch. The Ducati bit, but Chris Walker on the number 2 Suzuki. Chris Walker, 4th in the championship. Had that fiasco at Alton Park. You saw it at the top of the programme. He is out to make amends this time, and away he goes. Round the right-hander, Sears corner, the second right-hander now as they have left the start away down the Revit straight, and it's Walker leading the pack. And let me tell you that Shane Byrne, one of the riders who fell, has been taken to hospital. I will update you with his condition, but 2 others who came down, John Crawford and John Crockford, leading the Privateer Championship. Crockford, they have made the restart, so they are both out there. But it's Chris Walker on the number 2 Suzuki, tucked in behind him, it's Neil Hodgson, then it's the number 3 Ducati of John Reynolds, but Walker leads. Can the Suzuki sustain the pace round here, Roger? You have done many racing miles here, and it's quick.
Well, we're on board with John Reynolds, and Neil Hodgson came up the inside. That's a replay of what happened at Sears Corner on the first lap. All of these bikes are very evenly matched, I have to tell you. We'll see as they go down the long straight that there'll be slipstreaming effects which play a part here at Snetterton. It's the longest straight of any circuit in the UK, and they're reaching speeds of over 170 miles an hour down that straight as we look at Rich's corner. Now this is the first corner, before going heavy on the brakes and down another gear into first gear for Sears corner. This is the second corner. Very important to get a good drive out of there, because this leads you down this very, very long straight. We can see the heat haze there in the distance and the riders coming towards us, but it is Walker from Hodgson. Hodgson's tucked in Walker's slipstream from Reynolds on bike number 3, and James Hayden there in 4th place.
Number 5 James Hayden in 4th place. Following him the red number 8 Yamaha Steve Hislop, who qualified on the second row at 37 years of age. Hislop, the old magic is still there. There's Hislop, the red Yamaha, distinctive. They've been working on that, putting some extra bits. They've had Japanese looking at that bike all weekend. In fact, the days leading up to the racing weekend. The 2 Kawasaki's there, Steve Plater, number 22, and Marty Craggill, who has replaced riding number 24 Peter Goddard away on World Superbike duty, as Roger Burnett said. And Craggill, I have to say, acquitting himself extremely well. But the leading trio just beginning to break away now. From Nottingham, number 2 Walker, there's Hodgson, fully aware of just how quick. Number 96 Paul Young, as I interrupt myself. Paul Young, another Australian, has been off the track. He's not had the best of seasons. We saw great things from this man last year on a fully privateer Yamaha. Now with Hodgson taking the lead, slipping in front of Chris Walker at the S's, flipping it left and right. Now they head up towards the bomb hole, the very fast right-hander, which is not the easiest corner, and there's a dip on the apex. As I went round the circuit in the course car before the race started, that dip is much more noticeable on the track than it is on the television. 3rd place John Reynolds, fastest lap. He's the record holder around here, and he's pretty quick.
Well, this left-hander here out of the chicane is a very difficult corner, because the riders know it's the only time they use the left-hand side of the tyre under acceleration. So they're very cautious there as Hodgson weaves about a little bit on the straight to try and make sure that... and we've got a fallen rider. That is Steve Plater, number 22, Steve Plater. That's at the chicane. That's the left-hand side of the tyre that I was speaking about, which has spun round. We'll see then, we've got a rear-facing shot. You see the bike twitched, the rear broke away. Exactly what I was talking about, Barry, there. The rear end broke away on the left-hand side of the tyre.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get the chance to warm up, as you said. Chris Walker now heeling into the left-hander again at the S's, having ducked under the bridge there, braking from 175 miles an hour. Paul Brown's Yamaha is like a rocket ship, so whatever they've been doing to that has worked for Paul Brown. Back again goes number 36. That's Gordon Blackley, the RAF technician. So the privateer has gone past Paul Brown on the brakes. Certainly lacks out on top speed, but he's good on the brakes and he's riding extremely smoothly. Brown then in the wheel tracks of Blackley, doing his best to close him down. Yamaha versus Kawasaki. That was a close one. He nearly took Paul Brown with him and skittles away into the grass, Roger.
Well, he just lent the Kawasaki in there a little bit too hard. Very, very lucky that the bike didn't actually pin him into the tyre wall there, as you saw. But that would have surprised Paul Brown. Paul Brown went offline slightly. But back with the battle at the front, and it's Neil Hodgson still from Chris Walker and John Reynolds there. These three now have broken away.
It's really close, these trio. Mackenzie there now, Shadow has got past Hislop. So number 7, Neil Mackenzie, in 5th place in the back of your picture, is up into 5th behind James Hayden. But this is where the action is. It's the old firm back in business. 1, 2, 3. Hodgson number 4, Walker number 2, Reynolds number 3. A reverse role in the championship because Reynolds came here on 153 points. Hodgson in 2nd place. Walker, conversely, on 110 points, is 4th in the championship. They are sitting in a 25, 20 and 16 point position respectively, and they all are desperate, approaching the halfway stage in the season to bag more big points.
Interestingly, the numbers on the front of those bikes represent their positions in last year's championship. So we've got the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place finishers in the championship battling for this year's series. Of course, last year's winner away at World Superbike, and that is Gordon Blackley. So he's up, and that's great to see him find. There's a doctor there, you can see full first aid attention on the side of the track there for him, and he's perfectly okay. And this is back at the end of the straight into the S's. There's forward facing from John Reynolds. That's John Reynolds' view of Chris Walker, squirting the power on the rear of that Suzuki, stepping out into the bomb hold, 2nd gear, 90 miles an hour, now accelerating up into 3rd gear, into Coram Curve, 100 miles an hour, as Nickel Robb now poses a problem for these three contenders. And what are they going to do? They're going one side and the other, and John Reynolds has managed to squeeze through. So very, very close quarters indeed for these guys.
Well, John Reynolds, as I say, with a 20-point championship lead, is currently giving away 9 points to the number 4 race leader, Neil Hodgson. But has Walker capitalised on the tail enders? They're weaving their way through the traffic. Reynolds almost grabbed 2nd place there. They went either side of the back marker there. It was really, really close stuff, and you can see which side's Reynolds going to go. He dives to the right. Look at Walker's fantastic all-action style with the bike sideways again into the Russell chicane as they go away up a long straight, moving to the right. John Reynolds breathing in to miss the grass and the pit wall, and he's on the right-hand side of the track, looking now at the inside line. Always a risk, of course, Roger, that the tail enders might be unwittingly moving across, simply not knowing they're there.
Well, they've got a job to do, just like the guys at the front, and this is looking back to 4th and 5th place, and now James Hayden there on bike number 5 is 4th from Neil Mackenzie, and then Hislop, and then I saw in the background there Craghill coming forward, and that is the GSE team looking at the monitor, looking to see what the lap times are and what information to put on that pit board for their rider. And here he is, bike number 4, Neil Hodgson. Reynolds ran wide there. I saw Reynolds run wide, so that's dropped Reynolds back a little bit. You can see in the back of your picture Reynolds has lost ground.
On the last lap, Chris Walker mounting a very strong challenge indeed, but we know just how quick Neil Hodgson's Ducati is. Neil Mackenzie down in 5th place has been working, burning the midnight oil on his Ducati as well. He's got that sorted, but Chris Walker is as close now as he's been all race, apart from when he led it, of course, in the early stages. But Hodgson went past and has led the race ever since. Has Chris Walker got any answer? There are still tail enders ahead of them. Through goes Hodgson, through goes Walker. That characteristic knee out, just dipping it down through the gearbox again, through the S's, away now towards the bomb hole. Driving hard through the right-hander, shadowing Neil Hodgson. The INS Ducati rider knows full well that he's got real pressure behind him. The number 2 Suzuki of Chris Walker as they come round Coram Curve. Walker's knee was actually on the grass, on the dirt there, down towards Russell's. They have a left and a right. Keep it all together, Neil. Just keep it on the island. Drive carefully out of here. Keep the power on. Walker is with you. He's coming round the outside. Chris Walker up the hill towards
He's in front. His fist is in the air. Something happened to Neil Hodgson, but Chris Walker got the 25 points. Nobody could be more excited than Chris Walker. What a tremendous finish and a tremendous race from the Suzuki man. Hodgson, I suspect, will be a little bit disappointed with second. Terrific result for Chris Walker. Couldn't do a better day's work than that. He has to do it all again, of course, in the second race. Reynolds congratulating him, but won't be that happy, I suspect, with third. The Suzuki team almost surprised.
Well, I think there were. I think something happened there for Neil Hodgson to have lost on that run as Chris Walker celebrates with a fantastic wheelie, and that's what the crowd loves so much about him. So there's confirmation of the table. Walker 0.02 of a second in front of Hodgson, Reynolds, Hayden, Mackenzie Crawford. Craggill there, a great ride from him to 7th. Steve Hislop 8th.
John, you sat there in third place right through the race watching all that in front of you. Were they going at it?
Yeah, there were. There's not a lot I could do about it. In fact, there's nothing I could do. You know, I was trying as hard as I could, and basically I wasn't on the pace, and you know, it's a problem.
You looked with 2 laps to go as though you were closing in, and I thought, hello, he's going to make his move.
Yeah, I got tangled up with a couple of back markers, and I lost a lot of ground, and you know, I'm trying to make the ground up around the back there and losing it in 2 or 3 other places. So, you know, just trying to make the best of what we've got.
But it's another podium and more good points.
Not enough though, Barry.
Neil, like you, I thought you had that one and it all went to pieces.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really know what to say, Barry. You know, I made a real silly mistake. I missed a gear. I've missed a few coming out there in practice. It's just a shame I missed it on the last lap of the race. You know, I had got it won really. All I had to do was keep the bike flat out, and I'd have gone over the line in the lead. But I missed a gear, and I paid the price. And there's no one more upset than me. I'm gonna take myself outside and have a little word with myself, I think, and give myself a bit of a beating up.
Chris, that was fantastic last lap dash. Was that your game plan?
I didn't really have one, to be honest. I was really just hanging on in there. I'd not really got anything left in the tank, and I was struggling to just be faster than him anyway. Everywhere I got a little bit of an edge. The next corner he pulled away from me, sort of thing. So Neil rode really well. He just made a mistake to the chicane on the last lap, which is what I was hoping, really. Kept him under pressure, and I figured it'd take a mistake from Neil for me to win, and fortunately he made one and not me, so brilliant.
Well done.
Thank you.
Amazingly, John Crockford picked himself up from the tarmac after that first lap crash and lifted the privateer victory. So a good result for the man from Southampton. And Chris Walker, 25 points the better. The smiling face tells the story. He was thrilled with that. A great result for Chris Walker on the Suzuki. Can he do it all again in the next race?